Hey, welcome back to the Conversion Clinic. In this video, I'm going to show you how to determine your Google Ads budget. You have no idea how much to spend, how the whole system works, all that kind of stuff. I'll show you how it works right now. Let's say, for example, that you wanted to spend $10 a day and you want to know how does Google spend that money? Well, they actually don't spend any more than 2 times your average daily budget at any one day. But in a 30.4 day period, so that's what they classify as like a month, is 30.4 days. So they actually divide that by the entire year, divide by 12, that's how they get that. In this way, it will spend nearly double your daily budget. So if you want to spend $10, it will sometimes spend double that if it thinks that it can get your conversion on that day. So it works on a lot of different algorithms and metrics to figure out, is this person ready to buy? Let's take a risk and let's pay a little more to see if we can get that sale or that lead or whatever. So that's how Google works. And you'll see sometimes it'll be $6 on some days. Sometimes it'll spend $17 in the day, 15. So it kind of equals out over the 30.4 day period. But that's kind of how it works. In very rare cases, has it ever overspent the entire monthly? That's happened to me once in out of the hundreds of accounts I've done. We had one client where they spent like 10 grand in a day and we're like, what the hell? That's our monthly budget. How did it spend in a day? So we actually got refunds on those. It was something that they call, I forget what they call, overspending or something like that. Anyway, I want to go into how do you determine your budget, because you've never run ads before. So how do you work it out? So there's a free tool called Keyword Planner, and it's by Google, and you can log in through your Google account and you can access it. So once you've logged in and you've gone through the little steps, you've selected the account, you then click on Discover New Keywords. Now, from here, I'm just going to show you some examples figuratively on, and this will be totally different from what you're doing probably. But let's say, for example, you had a law firm in Melbourne and you wanted to run a campaign for legal services. Let's say that you were doing it that broadly, right? I recommend you get more specific than just legal services, like the specific legal areas that you service, conveyancing law maybe. Actually, we'll do that in this example. So let's say, for example, you were a conveyancing lawyer. So you go conveyancing lawyer near me, conveyancing legal services near me. Maybe we just start with those two to give us some ideas. We set the location as Melbourne because we're in Melbourne. Get results, and it'll come up with a bunch of ideas here, right? And so it's got conveyancing solicitors near me, property solicitors, all this kind of stuff, which is amazing. And you've got like competition. So that's usually, there's actually like 100 slots available per like auction that you enter into. And each time someone types in like a query and searches something on Google, that is technically an auction. So imagine 100 people competing for each like little query that people type in. Anyway, I won't go too deep into it, but basically what you need to come up with to determine your budget is the low range and the high range. And you're basically going to think, okay, well, I really want to bid on this keyword and this keyword. They get 20 searches a month, 30 searches a month. This is 1,900, so that's probably too broad. You might want to go for the ones that are more specific, because the more specific they are, the higher likelihood that they're ready to take the next step and they're trying to actually find you. So I don't recommend doing any broad terms like conveyancing law or whatever, because then you're probably going to enter into like blog articles and stuff like that. Anyway, so let's say, for example, you wanted this one and you want to stay away from the word cheap. And instead you went to like this one. And okay, let's say that you had an ad group and you want to just run some ads to these keywords and show up whenever someone types in these keywords. Then you look at the low and high range. So you're like, okay, well, at the least, if I'm lucky, I might be spending like $4 a click, but at the most I'm spending $18 a click. So therefore, if I wanted to get just one click in a day, I've got to be prepared to spend 18 bucks for that. Not that you will, like you can get discounts on your ads, like 50% off each click. But let's say this was the case, you've got to be prepared for that. And realistically speaking, just because someone visits your website from one of these search terms doesn't mean you convert them straight away. Doesn't mean you've got a 100% conversion rate. No such thing. So you need to be realistic with yourself and think, okay, well, I estimate at the beginning we might need 50 clicks before we get a sale or something like that. And then you just work out, okay, what is this? 18.57 times 50 clicks, let's say. And you would have to spend $928 to get a conversion, right? To get a lead through. And then you're thinking, okay, well, how good is my sales team? How good are my lawyers? Can they convert this person into like an actual contract, a case? And let's say that were the case and only half of the leads come to you or a third of the leads come to you, you convert into a sale. So you might have to be prepared If it's a third, you might have to be prepared to spend 3 times as much to get a lead. But what if the case was worth $50,000 to you or $20,000? That's a no-brainer to me, right? This is kind of like the thought process when you're trying to think about how much you should spend on Google Ads. I gotta be real with you, it's a guessing game at the beginning. You're using an educated guess to figure this out. And you gotta be prepared to put some money down, put some risk down, like every other business decision you've made. But I'm telling you, like, this is probably one of the best channels for these types of businesses to get sales. Okay, so, but this is kind of like how you figure it out with the way that you want to spend. Now, if you're a highballer and you're a business, like I've had businesses want to come to me and spend $100,000 in a month. I've had businesses want to spend $10,000 in a day. Those types of businesses might want to start off with that, but I don't recommend it because there's a lot of wastage at the beginning when you're training a new ads account. And so when you're trying to, you know your budget and you know you want to spend a lot of money per day, it doesn't mean the algorithm is going to be at its best state at the beginning because you've got to train it over time to be more profitable. So I do not recommend spending the most amount of budget that you're willing to spend. I reckon usually you start off with about a third of the budget that you want to do. If that's the case, like 3K a day, or in that case, like probably even $100 to $200 a day is fine. But like, even if you're a smaller client, like if you're only in the ballpark of $10, $20, $30 a day, you can eventually tweak the algorithm, learn how much it costs per like appointment or a lead, and then over time you ramp it up to $100 a day, $200 a day, just as the data comes in. As you start to work out, oh, it costs $30 to get a new appointment, then I'm gonna ramp it up because I want 2 appointments a day or 5 appointments a day. So I know that I've got to spend $150 a day or whatever that might be. So you know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of level of thinking you're going to do when you're thinking about how much you want to spend on ads. If you've got any questions about this, leave them in the comments below. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.